Welcome back to Straight Facts. It's Wednesday. I'm joined by the Don Hussam. I'm joined by Judge Mo. Loads to talk about as Alexander Isak fights back and threatens legal action against the media and his agency pushback against the media lies being spread and told, right down to Gary Lineker of all people, essentially saying that Isak has changed the landscape of football by striking like it's not been done before. Also, Mo Salah. Thank God. I praise Mo Salah for being the first player to do this. I hope more follow. Calling out the cancerous player FC that haunt and damage all of our football clubs today. So big up Mo Salah. We're talking Arsenal as well. Are they title ready? Are they ready to win the Premier League title and take it away from Liverpool? Plus, we're touching on a bit on Pep and a bit on Cunha's injury update as well. But gentlemen, how are you both? You're both well, and I feel like I've barely seen you in the last week.
Make sure you guys are liking the video. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button. Hit the like button right now, guys. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're ready to do so. Everyone, please like and subscribe. You get me? Let's go. We're back on Straight Facts, baby. International break, but the Football Terrace got you covered. Great content. You get me? Like and subscribe. Run it up. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm all good. I'm very good. Sam kind of tortured me yesterday when I'm a chef, so I'm all right. I had nightmares yesterday. But anyway, it is what it is, you know. Hit that like button, people. Let's get to 1,000 likes. Right up.
Let's get it.
Let's go, guys. Let's go, guys.
Get it done. Look, I want to start with Liverpool. I'm actually going to start with the Mo Salah part. We're going to get into Isak in a minute. We're going to let the audience build up. But if you haven't seen what Mo Salah did today, go to my Twitter. I quote tweeted it saying, well said, Mo, but you can go to Mo Salah's tweet. I think they may have deleted it by now, but this big Liverpool account called Anfield Edition, 500,000 followers. So let's put some context into this. Massive. Over 13 million people have viewed it. There were thousands of people liking it beforehand, but Mo Salah has quote tweeted it. And actually, the tweet itself is 2 pictures of Darwin Núñez and Diaz grayed out with Wirtz and Isak because their numbers were the same, with Wirtz and Isak in color. And the tweet said, name a bigger upgrade in footballing history. Mo Salah has called it out, saying, how about we celebrate the great signings without disrespecting the Premier League champions? And it's already on 349,000 likes by Mohamed Salah. But for me, I'm so glad to see a top player call out Player FC, or fans of clubs that sort of play players up against one another.
How's that Player FC? I'm sorry. How's that Player FC?
Because they're, whether it's Player FC do this as well, they play one player off against another player, either currently at the club or formerly of the club. I've said this for a long time. I think you can criticize players, but there is this element of one. When I grew up as a kid, you never played one-upmanship with your own players. What you would do is go, haha, look at our striker versus that club striker. Never was it, look at that piece of shit who's at my club, but this guy at my club's amazing. It's part of the Player FC self-deprecating bollocks that's taken over our game. And I'm so glad to see a footballer like Mo Salah call this bullshit out. I really am.
I'm Mo Salah's biggest fan, but I don't think he should have gotten involved. These are people, these are fans, to be honest. And I kept thinking about it when you brought it up. I don't think he should have gotten involved. This thing happens all the time with Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool players before. He actually said it many times before. Liverpool players themselves, like Liverpool accounts before, said it many times when they upgrade on this, when they upgrade on that, and he didn't get involved. He's getting involved because he likes Darwin Núñez and Luis Diaz. He wasn't calling out all these Liverpool accounts when they call him Trent Tarat. To be honest with you, he's calling them out for personal gain. I like Mohamed Salah. You know, he's probably my Premier League GOAT because of, like, he's Egyptian, and I back him all the way. But I don't think that this is the right way to do it, to be honest. Going into fan channels like this and saying that is not, there's no disrespect. They're saying it's an upgrade. There is a bigger upgrade. And I agree with that count. This is a massive upgrade. Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez, going from that to Isak, Wirtz, and Ekitike, it's a massive upgrade. And fans are allowed to brag about it. But do we like when fans brag about things? Do we like when Liverpool fans were going on to Newcastle fans and there was a war between them and it was funny for the media between this and that, and Newcastle doing this and Liverpool fans doing this, but then because it's his players and his friends, he's calling them out? I actually don't think that To be honest, he should have gotten involved. This Anfield edition. Listen, I don't know them. I follow them probably. I don't follow all the tweets. They're not my go-to for Liverpool. But I don't understand why is he getting involved. It's a point scored, and they are bragging with their signing, and that's the way they do it. All of us do that. All of us do this at upgrade. And let them be. Why is he getting involved? Why? I disagree.
Unfortunately, I have to agree with Mo on this one. Not Mo, the player. Judge Mo. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't think there was anything wrong with the Anfield Edition tweet. I'll just be completely honest. I really don't think there was anything wrong with it. They're right. It is a massive upgrade.
Terrible.
You know, but Salah is just protecting his former teammates, and rightfully so. You know, he played with them. You know, so that's just the thing. So,
but he didn't need to quote that. He could have said something without getting involved. He could have said, like he did with Trent. He didn't quote people with Trent. I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
he can defend his team.
There is nothing wrong with it. Like, I'll be honest with you, there is nothing wrong with the tweet. They are massive upgrades. It's the truth. We did upgrade massively from Diaz and Nunes to Wirtz and Isak. And I understand Mo trying to protect like his former teammates and stuff like that, which I have no problem with. So I don't have a problem with what Mo did, and I don't have a problem with what Anfield Edition tweeted out, because I don't think there's any issue with it. Like, I really don't think there's any issue with it.
He could have done it himself.
Saying you upgraded. Okay, so let's put it this way. I know they haven't been successful at Man United, but as an example, let's say you signed Emi Martinez and you said we upgraded on goalkeeper. You're not really disrespecting your goalkeepers or anything. You're stating a fact. We have upgraded.
You didn't like Onana. All the Man United fans will actually slagging off Onana. If you get
and likewise, most Liverpool fans didn't like Darwin Nunes, to be fair.
And like, Luis Diaz was called out plenty of times. Osam versus the Colombians. We all know that story.
Okay.
Big up Colombia. We made peace now. Big up.
So I understand that. I think there is a difference though. The players at United that we're calling out haven't delivered for us, where Liverpool players did. Now, Darwin Núñez, you can argue he didn't hit the heights that were needed. That being said, Darwin Núñez has still done more for you than Højlund did for United or what Onana did for Man United. So we're still comparing, in my opinion, apples with oranges. My issue with it is this, and I think it all boils in to the ballpark of Player FC. I really do believe it does, because I feel that it's a disrespectful tweet from a massive Liverpool account that you don't need to show their faces. You can it feels more like the kind of post that one of those troll Twitter accounts does. There's that hater account that always posting trolling stuff, or it feels like something that, you know, TNT Sport might do. I don't think you need to be self-deprecating in any way towards your club, especially with Luis Diaz, who was a very, very good player for you. Now, Wirtz might be better, but I think you can celebrate Wirtz coming in. I think you can celebrate Isak coming in without having to shit on previous players that helped win you league titles. I understand it if players have flopped, if players have done you dirty like Trent maybe has done, or from a Man United perspective, the way Angel Di Maria left the club. I get fans saying, I prefer what we've got now. I do get that. But this is something I felt for a long time. I felt that if Pogba FC stood in front of Paul Pogba and spoke to Pogba and gave their opinions on Bruno Fernandes, I think Paul Pogba would think they're dicks. And I want more footballers to start calling out these fools and these idiots in our game that are just nasty about their own football players because somebody thinks they're better than their favorite football player, because I don't think there's any constructiveness. You saying we need an upgrade on Darwin Núñez to win the league isn't disrespectful to Darwin Núñez. You're putting your club first. But there are some posts and there are some things we say, you're purely, the part of it is to dig at someone or to play someone down, and there's no betterment in it for your football club. And I think there's a difference in that. So, and I think it's maybe you guys don't see this situation as the same, but I look at it all, and I think there's a lot of things that we say as fans that if
I think you're dramatizing it.
No, yeah. If players get involved, I'm sorry, Osama,
I agree with Mo Salah.
If
Mo
players
Salah
get
agrees,
involved,
Mo Salah agrees with me. Mo Salah agrees with me.
Okay,
So I'm backing with the king. I'm going with the king. Mo Salah.
Okay, if players get involved with fans' accounts like this, we have to understand that fans' accounts need to get involved with players as well. I'm going to give you
but they already are. We give opinions every day on players.
We call them out.
Every day, we already do it.
They are celebrities, with all due respect. They're celebrities. For example, they are celebrities. They put themselves out there. You're allowed to criticize them. You're allowed to say,
you said Højlund and Onana didn't deliver.
This is not abuse.
Has
They didn't abuse.
okay? Do you work with City fans who told you we need a new defense, we need new centre backs? Ruben Diaz delivered for them, Stones delivered for them. So
Yes,
I don't think there's anything wrong with going like, okay, if let's say City bought Bastoni in this transfer window, and then they showed the picture of Stones and went like, we a massive upgrade from Stones to Bastoni. I don't think that's disrespectful. I think both parties are right, because one guy is protecting his teammates, and the Liverpool fan, rightfully so, is excited at the prospect of watching one of the best strikers in the world play for their football club after being subjected to human torture watching Nunes play for Liverpool Football Club. It's the truth, you know. So just because
hang on a minute, hang on, Mo, 1 second. So you sit there for a second and say, I'm over. This is the thing. Your challenge on me was I'm over dramatizing it. But then in your defense of this post, you say that watching Darwin Núñez play is human torture, and that's not over dramatizing things.
No, that's a analogy. You get me? That's just an example. You get me? Human torture in football forms. You know?
This is actually very true.
That's not dramatizing.
I'm sorry. I don't get paid to support Inter. You don't get paid to support Man United.
So what?
The channel. That player gets paid. If Hussam thinks that he plays like shit, him doing watch along and getting tortured and having almost a stroke, that actually is right. That player is up there, is out there getting paid to play the sport.
You have every right to criticize and say what you want. People have the right to challenge what you're saying and doing, and we forget that in this circumstance. I don't like watching, especially players that have been successful for your club. I don't like to see them disrespected. I think Mo Salah is spot on. I think that post is disrespectful. I agree with Mohamed Salah.
Can I actually tell you something?
Go on.
Liverpool won the league despite Darwin Núñez.
In spite of Núñez.
Okay, well, let me finish what I was saying, though. I agree with Mohamed Salah. I agree with the 400,000 people that have liked and retweeted and commented with it. I'm going to stay on that side of this argument. I think there is a self-deprecating, disrespectful element to that post. And a side point from that is the player FC element. And I hope that more players start doing this. I hope that the next time somebody from player FC supporting player X, when their fans start writing up bullshit and analyzing football in a very warped way about a player they don't like, I hope that their fellow professionals come out and start calling out this nonsense, because actually we're not getting it from our pundits anymore. Our pundits are not reviewing football in a professional manner and educating us on the game. They're pushing out like sort of bottom of the barrel fan level content, which is making fans behave in an even worse way, because they think, well, if the pros are doing it, it's the right way to behave. We saw it just yesterday where Jamie Carragher and Paul Scholes are saying the only reason that Amorim hasn't lost his job is because he's sexy and good looking. What the fuck in the KY jelly are we talking about here? Talking about his looks and his charisma are the only reason he's got a job. He maybe shouldn't have one, but his looks have got nothing to do with it. They throw it in, more people are going to start throwing it into the mix, and it's absolutely crazy. And I think that we need to get back to a point, Bruno Fernandes, the way he gives the ball away, he gives the ball away too much, that proves he's bad. Every other top pro that ever speaks about Bruno Fernandes is like, yeah, he loses the ball because he's highly creative, and all pro footballers back him for that. It isn't because they're backing a colleague, it's because they understand the game. And what we need is professional pundits to also push the right narratives so fans are educated properly, and we're not running football conversations purely based all the time on agendas. It's becoming I love this industry. Without sounding arrogant, I'm one of the pioneers of this industry, and it is going down the toilet. I watched a podcast yesterday. I won't name the channel, no disrespect to them. An hour I went through it, an hour. It was an hour of 6 people supporting 6 different teams, lying about each other's clubs. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, that's what 10-year-olds at school do. And I believe these kind of posts, I believe the player FC element of the game, I believe the unprofessional nature from pundits on TV, I think it is all intertwined and interconnected. And I think we've got to do better. I think we've got to do much better.
So Mohamed Salah shouldn't tell fans how to feel about their players, by the way. He shouldn't. And Terry's asking Hussam to actually, I think that's what Terry's asking us. We should support our teams nicely, like very nice, to be nice.
No, it's not what I said.
Very nice. You know what? Like Lautaro misses a chance, or Barella plays bad, or Bastoni plays bad. We're sorry.
Be respectful. Be respectful to your. Be respectful to your. I'll give you an example. Be respectful. Jasper Blomqvist was not a great player for Manchester United, but he was part of our treble-winning season. And for what he helped us deliver, I don't care he had a stinker in the final. I don't care that he was an average football player for us. What he helped deliver, the history he brought to my club, I'll always have a respect for him, and I won't disrespect him, and I won't be nasty about him. I don't need to. Oh, what did you make of Jasper Blomqvist? Oh, so happy when we sold that bum. Why have I got to speak like that? There's no need to. There's no mileage in it. There is. You don't need to be nice all the time about your team when they're failing. This player isn't good enough. We've got to upgrade. But there are times where I agree with Mo Salah. You can celebrate something without shitting on someone else. You could just celebrate Isak and Wirtz. You don't need to bring the previous players into it, especially players that have delivered in the last few years more than any other.
Delivered, though. See, that's the problem. Diaz delivered. Diaz delivered in the last season. Diaz, I agree, in the last season. I apologize to the Colombians. We made peace. Yeah. But you get me. Nunes didn't deliver. We won the league in spite of him, not because of him. You know, he had one game the whole season where he played well out of the 38 games. So that's just the truth. And I think you're just going down a very dark route of utter woke nonsense right now as you're speaking, because football is an emotional sport. Football is a tribal sport. I'm allowed while watching a football game to cuss a player out. I'm allowed while watching a football game to be really mad at the referee. I'm allowed to criticize players. Like, you know, by the way, Salah himself during the Arsenal game, when I was doing the watch along, after like his third bad moment, I was like, give me one good touch, Mo, like on the watch along. What, am I disrespecting him?
So, no, I'll answer that. I think it's very different when you're watching the game because your emotions are heightened. 4 or 5 days after a match, when your team has just beaten Arsenal, when you've had the greatest transfer window in your club's history, when you're top of the league, when you're currently champions, I don't think that your emotions at that point should lead to disrespect, because everything right now, Liverpool, since they were the dominant force in the 70s and 80s, life's never been so good for a Liverpool fan life has never been so good for a Liverpool fan as it is today. Therefore, I don't think you're being led by, like, there is no need to be led by the emotion that makes you say things that you don't really mean. I get in a game, we all do this, in a game in the emotions, we might go, you fucking idiot, to a player that we love. I think that's quite normal. On a match reaction, you might be angry. You say things you maybe don't quite mean. But where Liverpool are in their current climate on a Wednesday morning, I don't think there is any reason to disrespect current champions have helped you win things while celebrating the new players. I don't think you got to play them off against each other.
Terry,
Terry,
I
just want to ask him a question, Mo. That's very important. Just one question. Wait. So the Anfield Edition post is, well, 1 second. Name a bigger upgrade. So is Wirtz are Wirtz and I know. So are Wirtz and Isak massive upgrades on Diaz and Nunes?
The thing, they are, but let me explain something to you. Because
so how was Anfield Edition disrespectful?
I'll tell you why. Because would you say Liverpool, say Mo Salah misses the penalty in a Champions League final this year, would you call him a loser?
What does this have to do with
I'm going to explain what it's got to do with it.
Yes.
The word loser has an implication, or the word loser means you're pathetic and you always lose and you'll never win. So I could never call Mo Salah a loser, even if he loses a game or loses a final or misses a penalty, because he isn't by definition a loser. We all know when you write on social media, show me a bigger upgrade, we all know that phrasing has a negative connotation. The same as when you call somebody a loser, as an example. We know what the underlying tone of that social media phrase means. We all work in it. We all get in it. It's as if to say, look at that shit and look at what we've got now. We do it in reverse, don't we? When you put a Man United team up from 2008 and you compare it to now, and everyone goes, name me a bigger downgrade in history. We all know that show me a bigger, better upgrade or show me a worse downgrade. We all know there is a deeper negative connotation.
Yeah, there is a negative connotation. You're right.
That is what I'm talking about.
I don't see negative at all.
Disrespectful. The negative connotation is we bought Darwin Núñez 3 years ago, said that he's going to go band for band with Haaland. He absolutely flopped. He became one of the worst transfers in Premier League history. So yes, there is a negative connotation. Luis Diaz, after the first 6 months after transferring from Porto, had a horrible 2 seasons, and then last season he had a good one. So maybe Diaz, you can claim it was disrespectful because last year he was actually quite good. Okay. But with the Núñez one as an example, so let's say Diaz wasn't included in that picture. Let's say a picture of Núñez was posted and Isak, and we went like massive upgrade, incredible upgrade. Yeah, you're right. There is a negative connotation because Darwin Núñez did not deliver, because Darwin Núñez was crap, because he didn't live up to his expectations or his price tag, and he had He underperformed his XG the most in the whole continent. So we're allowed to have a negative connotation about a player that was detrimental.
There is zero disrespect here and zero negative.
And you boys, we're going to move on to the super chats and then go into the next subject. But you boys can think that I am siding with Mohamed Salah on this one. Your captain, and your greatest ever player, Mo. I'm going to Hussam. I'm going to, and your countryman, Mo. I'm going to side with him on this one. What the fuck is wrong with saying a transfer is an upgrade? The connotation of what that wording means. I agree with Mo Salah. Watch it again. Shearer didn't say what you claim. I don't need to. I'll play the clip again in a minute. I think the Salah is still emotional about Jota and seeing disrespect by. But yes, a great point. Maybe there is still that element there of Liverpool players being very protective of their teammates after what happened in the summer. It's a very, very, very important point to this. I didn't think about it from that point of view, but great point. Nunez and Diaz won and left us in a better hands. Welcome to Liverpool. Verts and Isak is a better post. I agree completely. I think the Salah is.
No, where are we going with the sport? Like, where are we actually going with the sport? Do I need to kiss everyone's ass to be respectful, bro?
No,
I don't understand this. Yeah, there are negative connotations. Guess what? Nunez was fucking shit. There are negative connotations. So now what?
I agree with Mo Salah.
Yeah, just so what?
I agree with Mo. I think the Salah. Sorry, we've done that super chat. Salah and Klopp told fans how to feel about Trent. Yeah, he did speak up for Trent as well, I think, to be fair. It's not apple and oranges, mate. Yes, Diaz and Onana are way different levels, but so are Liverpool and United. So come on, have shame and decorum. Well, they're at different levels, which means Liverpool fans are nowhere near as emotionally unstable as Man United fans right now because they're in a good place. So there is even less. You've actually made the argument worse. You've actually pointed out there is less reason to be disrespectful when you're at the greatest moment of one of the greatest points in your club's history versus maybe the worst moment.
But the word upgrade is not disrespectful at all. Despite its negative connotations, it's not.
But we all know what those posts mean, and we're going to start to ignore that now on purpose.
Terry, based on the comments, you took an L here. So take the L. People in the chat, please, if you think Terry took an L, type L, Terry. That's it.
Okay,
yes, just type L Terry.
Type L Terry if you think Terry took an L. Because all the comments are against you.
I don't care about the comments. I don't care if they're against me. It's not going to make me change my mind. I'm going to stand
no one asked you to change your mind. Just take the L.
I look at it this way. Mo Salah, nearly 500,000 people liked the tweet. Anfield Edition, 7,000 people liked what's being said. They're probably going to delete their post. That tells me who's right on this particular debate. I think both parties are correct. The tweet is okay, but Mo Salah sticking up for someone dissing his teammates is 100% okay.
I agree with this 100%. I have no problem with what Salah did. Stick up for your teammate. No problem.
Ash here says, I'm with Terry on this one. First of all, whether it's an upgrade or not, only time will tell. Coutinho was an upgrade for Barcelona when he signed. Show class and respect.
Yeah, when you say show class and respect our champions, I don't think the word upgrade, even within its negative connotations, is showing any disrespect. It is a fact that Alexander Isak is an upgrade on Darwin Núñez. That is not a disrespect. If Liverpool signed Jean-Philippe Mateta and we tweeted upgrade, it's true as well because we upgraded on Darwin Núñez. So there is nothing wrong with that take. Like, I think people are over-exaggerating this just because Salah quote tweeted it, and we're not looking at this objectively. I understand the part with Diaz, maybe people are a bit upset, but saying what an upgrade from Núñez to Isak is completely fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Creighton Dave says, is Terry claiming he's never said a United transfer was an upgrade? We will be able to test this theory when Man United become champions of England and it's followed by our greatest ever summer transfer window. Let's see if I do it or not. Okay, we've got to compare situation with situation, right? We can't for the experiment to work, the conditions have got to be the same. So next time Man United win the league and we improve on a position.
That's not gonna happen.
That's never gonna happen. It's gonna take you like fucking 7 years, bro. You're gonna be on like 5 million subs by that time.
But yeah, great. Then there'll be a bigger audience to sample what I say. I won't
clip him. Bigger audience to clip him when he says
I won't disrespect them. I just won't do it. By the way, 55% of the vote say that you two have taken the L. 44% of the vote say that I've taken the L at this particular moment in time. So get voting, please, people. Which shows that it's a good mixture and good debate.
Yeah, good debate.
It's also scapegoating players. Arsenal fans are the worst culprits for it. Yeah.
Actually, Liverpool fans went into a weird stratosphere, and Mo will know what I'm talking about, of which they actually started blaming our better players than the actual ones who are the reason at fault. Like, people were cussing out Virgil, Salah, players like that, and leaving out Nunes and Diaz because we had to kiss their ass. But I never kissed their ass. I said the truth.
I get that. Keep sticking it with Liverpool. I can't actually believe I'm going to end up sort of backing Liverpool players twice today. But that shows how unbiased I am, I suppose.
Let's get 1,000 likes first, guys. We cannot have like over 2,000 people and have like 400 likes.
Yeah,
1,000 likes live, guys. Come on.
Let's get the likes done. Obviously, a lot of issues being created around the Alexander Isak situation. Talks of him downing tools, trying to sabotage Newcastle's season. His representatives are now thinking about legal action and taking legal action against these publications. There has also been, very famously, the likes of Gary Lineker, Alan Shearer, etc., calling out his behavior as well in the kind of wake of what's been going on, and how he and Wissa, but more so Alexander Isak, because it's more high profile, are essentially changing the way transfers are going to happen and sort of setting new precedents within the transfer window. There's been a hell of a lot of abuse, a hell of a lot of pejoratives, a lot of stories being made up about Alexander Isak. And I mean, it is one of the biggest transfer sagas ever, but I think that's also been amplified by a lot of what has been said. I'm going to play the video in just a moment from the guys on the podcast, because I think it's important to put this in there as well, because I think in some respects, I feel like this is almost as big a claim. So let's take a little listen here.
Alexander Isak, Wissa went to Newcastle, and Mark Guehi still fell through at the final minute, who had absolutely done things completely properly, captained the side, played the night before, scored a brilliant goal, was quite emotional with his celebration. So are we saying now that this is the way that players will continue to act in the future?
I think because of what's happened with Isak and what's happened with Wissa, then yeah, you will see more of that. I mean, I don't like it. No, I don't think any fan likes it. And I can't say that because of the Isak situation. I also have to mention the Wissa situation and him going to Newcastle. I don't like what the players have done when they refuse to play for their clubs and having a contract behind them whilst being paid by the football clubs. No, it's not a good look, and I don't like it. It's not a good look for football. But unfortunately, yes, you are, I think, because of those two getting the moves, particularly the Isak one, because that's been more high profile than anything I can ever remember, then players will look at that and think, well, if he or if they did it, then yeah, I can do it and I might get my move. And
someone called me out earlier saying that's not what Alan Shearer said. It's quite clearly what Alan Shearer and Gary Lineker are saying, that the fact that Pierre Van Hooijdonk, the fact that Carlos Tevez, Dimitar Berbatov, Clint Dempsey, Marcus Rojo, Anthony Gordon, the fact that Gyökeres this summer, Raheem Sterling in the past, Dimitri Payet, Diego Costa, Dimitar Berbatov, to name just a few in the past that have gone on strike to force moves. This narrative that's now been created by three of the biggest voices, because Michael Rich is on there too, in football, coupled with these articles that he was trying to sabotage Newcastle season. This, for me, feels an absolute disgrace for Sam. A disgraceful smear campaign against your club and your new number 9.
I think there has been a smear campaign on Alexander Isak. Completely, there has been a smear campaign by the Newcastle journalists who have been absolutely pathetic this whole summer. I'm glad Terry called them out as well. You know, it's very important to call out the bullshit when we see it. Started off the summer by saying he's not for sale and all this. Here's the problem, and I noticed this. Liverpool are the biggest club in England because everyone hates us. And the Guehi transfer is the biggest example of this. Isak, Liverpool is at fault. Guehi, Liverpool is at fault. No one is having normal conversations anymore about Liverpool Football Club because they're scared of what's to come. They're scared of what's going to happen this season. That's just the truth. Guess what? Isak was right. After everything that's happened, I can confidently say right now that Isak was right. Because if Mark Guehi didn't turn up to training, kicked up a fuss, didn't turn up to preseason, and told Crystal Palace, if you don't sell me, I won't play, he's going to be a Liverpool player right now, holding up a Liverpool shirt. Does this set a bad precedence? No, because these things have been happening in football for a really long time. The examples that Terry just brought up are examples that came to my mind as well. Tevez, Berbatov, plenty of other examples, Coutinho. We all have an example at our own club where stuff like this happened. So these things have been happening for a really long time. Now, the issue is, two things I have an issue with, and I don't know if you watched the Joe Hart video as well, but there's two things that I have an issue with. Number one, why should a player pay for his club's incompetence? Let's say the reverse happened, right? Let's say Isak did what every single rival wanted him to do. Let's say Isak was respectful, turned up to preseason, showed up to training. He still would be a Newcastle player right now. He would still be at Newcastle right now because they wouldn't have done everything in their power to get him to leave Newcastle Football Club. Like that's their thing. They wouldn't have actively tried. They wouldn't have tried after the players to go sign Walter Maid and do all. They wouldn't have tried because in the back of their mind they're like, oh, we got Isak at home. We don't need to overdo it. You get me? And the other thing is, why is it expected for a player to fulfill his contractual obligations but not vice versa? Why didn't Man United fulfill the contractual obligations of Garnacho? Why didn't Liverpool fulfill the contractual obligations of Diaz? Why didn't Arsenal
What are you
fulfill
waffling about? They can't stop.
Why didn't Arsenal fulfill the contractual obligations of Zinchenko? Because the player is not good enough. And shout out to Thierry Henry, who made the most accurate point of all this. The reason why people are mad is because the player is amazing. Because when the player is bad and the club wants to sell him, no one's talking about contractual obligations. No one's talking about any of this shit. And I think there was something new that happened this summer that I hope we never see again, of which all of a sudden selling clubs are now asking buying clubs wait until we get a replacement. I hope this thing never happens ever again. I hope from now on things go back to how they were before this, where you go buy the player and you take the money and you do whatever you want with it. You buy your own replacement. Because Isak could have been a Liverpool player 2 months ago. Guehi could have been a Liverpool player 2 months ago. But we were subjected to the same exact thing. I don't know if you saw the report about Guehi where the owner was in a gym class in Soho on deadline day, as we're trying to actively get a player to sign for Liverpool Football Club. So now we go to the other guy, the guy who was very respectful. Did Crystal Palace not disrespect Mark Guehi mid-medical by telling him, no, you're not going to make this move? Did Crystal Palace not disrespect Mark Guehi by taking the dream move away from him? Did they not disrespect him by he had dreams of playing Champions League football, being a Premier League champion, whatever it is? Did they not take all of that away from him? So did Crystal Palace disrespect Mark Guehi? Or is it just one-sided where it's the player must like worship the club that he plays for, but anything in reverse, it's okay because the club owns the contract?
Okay, one guy before Terry talks. Sam,
Yeah.
Did what Coutinho did was correct or not correct?
From
For
a Liverpool
Liverpool.
perspective, it was not correct.
Okay, I just wanted to put this out there. So Coutinho was not correct, but Isak is correct. There is a report. Okay, great. There is a report that is actually out there that is saying that had Liverpool paid the money that Crystal Palace wanted in the beginning of the transfer window, Crystal Palace would have sold the player. And also that Mark Guehi didn't force the move because he was happy to see out his contract.
He's doing the money
We
thing.
didn't interrupt you. Okay, we didn't interrupt you. Don't get mad.
He's doing
No
the
one
money
hears
thing again, Pat. They never learn. See? The
why
money
are you
thing.
talking to the chat?
Just pay what they want. The same
Terry,
dumbass argument for
Terry,
Isak.
Terry, when you
Just
can
pay what
actually
Crystal
control
Palace want.
when you can control Osam to let other people talk because he's so sensitive. about
Habibi,
this,
you and
we
Terry
can
both can't
talk.
control me.
Yeah, like we control the
Don't talk
panel
about
because
control.
Yeah,
You can't control.
Habibi,
Because you're doing the same dumb shit you did
Oh
during
my
Isak.
God,
You didn't learn.
again. Here it
Just
goes
pay what they
again.
ask for. Since
Here
when
it
do clubs
goes
just pay what is asked?
again. Here it goes again. Okay. Crystal Palace reportedly a month ago, literally, said that they wanted 40 million and they were willing to sell the player then, not waiting for replacement, nothing. But Liverpool and Newcastle both refused to pay that money. That is reported by big journalists out there. And they haggled. Liverpool played a risky game. They won in the Isak situation because they played the risky game and they got him cheaper than what Newcastle wanted, per David Ornstein, who said that Newcastle were aiming for not sell him unless they get something close to 150. That is reported as well. But Liverpool played the risky game and they got the player for 125. They played the same game with Guehi, but they lost. Crystal Palace is at mistake because they accepted the 35 million before actually getting Igor to accept. However,
Did
There
they
is-
disrespect Guehi?
However, I'm gonna just put a scenario out there. If Liverpool have sold Konate at the last day, assuming that Guehi would be there, and again Guehi changed his opinion, right, after agreeing the deal with Liverpool, and changed his opinion and said, no, I'm staying at Crystal Palace. Do we think Liverpool have the right, if they haven't signed the papers yet, for Konate to go to Real Madrid, to say, we don't have anybody to play this season other than Gomez and Leone, we need you back? I would say probably Liverpool have done something wrong because they didn't secure the replacement before, but at that time they're doing right by their club. You want the players to be selfish, right? Which is, I understand, which is what Joe Hart have said. Isak was selfish, and I understand.
But
He did it
Guehi
for
wasn't
him.
selfish.
He did it for him, for his family, and the club were selfish, and the club did what's best for them.
In which case the club was
The
selfish?
club did what's best. When Igor made a U-turn after agreeing to go with them, and he said, I'm not going, they said, we're going to call our player back. We're going to call our player back. It's simple.
I'm going to interject a little bit because we've kind of
There's
gone
too
away
many
from
points. Yeah, there's too many points.
because I want to get back to the Isak thing. This is what Joe Hart and Chris Sutton had to say. Let's take a little look at this. We're going to go back to the Isak situation.
What's
all
wrong with
about the
Alexander
contract.
Isak standing his ground and
It's-
saying, I want to
Joe,
go to Liverpool?
It's all about the contract because he's under contract.
Well, it's
Joe.
obviously
So
not,
that's what-
because he's
that's what-
gone.
That's
The contract
Well,
means
he was-
nothing. You
Joe,
can say you can want the
Joe,
contract to mean something, but it doesn't, because he's
was
gone to
under
Liverpool.
Contract. Yeah, I know he's gone, and but he's getting slammed for going, and he's got his own way. But
Who
he was
cares if he's
under
getting
contract.
slammed, though, Chris?
So-
I'm
so
sure
what if
Alexander Isak cares what any of us think right
everybody-
now.
Well, obviously he doesn't, and
why should he?
He's selfish. He's selfish. No, and he's disrespectful.
He's selfish
to
to who, though?
teammates.
He's doing it for
His
himself and his
teammates, Joe.
family. Oh, teammates are
Don't
teammates.
si- Joe, don't sign the contract then. If you don't want to sign or get your agent to put the clause in, Joe. I honestly don't know what you're talking about.
Chris, you're ruthless. You're ruthless, so I don't know why you're having this kind of la-di-da opinion.
Who's the ruthless one here?
I'm ruthless.
By backing Alexander Isak.
Did you hear me
did
back
the right
him?
thing going to Liverpool?
Did you hear me
chucking
back
his
him?
toys out of the pram.
Did you hear me
Well,
back him?
You just said he did the right thing.
No, I didn't say that. I said I understood
think
why
you
he did it, and I'm saying, why would he?
Well, there you
I mean,
go,
you
you
talk about
understood why he
Mark.
did it.
Yeah, but what's wrong with me understanding? I'm
Well,
allowed
that's
to
the same
understand him. No, it's not.
That's okay. Well, do you understand selfish behaviour? That's fine.
What's it about? Who's he being selfish to? You? Because you're getting a bit upset.
No, I'm not. I'm not just.
Who's he
I'm
being
just making
selfish
a
to?
point. Contracts have to mean something.
But
Joe.
they don't.
That's why
Yeah, but
players
Chris,
But they
Joe's
don't.
right.
But they
Chris,
don't.
Joe's completely
Contracts
right,
don't have
that-
to mean anything.
No,
But
I'm
the
not.
clubs- the
I'm
clubs
not
disrespect
saying that
as
they
well.
do or
Oh
don't.
my
I'm just
God.
telling you they
Well,
don't.
what are
And
you
when it
saying?
doesn't suit, the club, the contract means nothing. Go and sit in that dressing room. Don't train when we come in. All those sorts of things happen. So why, when it's the other way round, do we all of a sudden have to adhere to the contract and respect everything that's going on?
Joe Hart
Thank
is
you, Joe
spot on,
Hart.
brother.
Hang on, guys. And to add to that, when Chris Sutton and Blackburn got relegated in 1998, he got himself sold to Chelsea for 10 million quid. Just want to put that, yeah, you know what I mean? And flopped at Chelsea and got moved on a year later. The hypocrisy, I've said it all along, stinks. And by the way, there are some Liverpool fans who have been called out for their hypocrisy, as Mo said, when the way that Liverpool fans spoke about Coutinho and Trent, and there are crossovers and there are differences, but there are crossovers in all of this. And football fans, I'm not telling any football fan how they should feel. Newcastle fans shouldn't be happy for him or celebrating him going. Liverpool fans shouldn't just say, oh, okay, I'm gonna love Trent again. They're entitled to feel how they want. But I'm focused more here on the ex-pros, the professional journalists, and footballing commentators who are just, for me, not reading the room at all. Clubs are allowed to treat players however they want, but high-profile, famous players, they can't. For me, you said it earlier, Mo, maybe that's why you're back in the clubs here again, but football fans can say what they want about Mo Salah, but just because Mo Salah gets paid a lot, he can't say what he wants back. I just can't subscribe to this train of thought in any.
Number one, you guys,
media.
Joe Hart told Chris, I am actually in Joe Hart's here side. Joe Hart said, I understand why he did it. He did it for himself, for his family. He's selfish for himself. Understand? He doesn't agree with it. That means he doesn't condone that, but he understands why he's doing it. And I mean, it's scam. What Isak did is a bad behavior. Did he get it when he wanted? Yes. He's a number 9 football player now at Liverpool. But is it the example I want to show to young players? No. I don't want
Why?
anybody to do
Why?
that.
But you
Why?
actually missed the big
Because
point.
contract needs to mean something. When you sign
Both
a
of you,
contract,
no, you see,
when
thank
you
you for
sign a
saying that.
contract,
So both of you
I need
missed
to
the main
respect-
point of what he said.
Can I finish?
Okay,
the point before I go?
but wait, because both of you
This is
started
getting-
speaking,
this is getting
and you didn't
ridiculous.
address the biggest
Wallah
thing.
al-Azim, this is
that-
every time I
that-
speak about this, I never
we
get
addressed
to
in the
finish
video.
my point. It is
You
getting
waffle.
absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, okay.
It's getting
Both of you-
ridiculous. The clubs cannot fucking stop paying the players' wages. Man
You're
United
making it
were
about
forced
paying.
to
That's
pay
not
the
what Joe Hart
money
mentioned.
because
That's
that's
not
what
what
the
Joe Hart
contract means. The contract doesn't state that you have to play for the first team. It means that you sign a 6-year contract. You are an asset that was bought by the club. The asset gets bigger. It's a stock. You're buying a player for £10. The stock gets bigger to 50, whatever. But you're obligated to pay him the wages. If the club doesn't pay the wages, the player takes you to court.
That's not what Joe Hart mentioned.
If you get if you get
So?
injured riding a bicycle, the club
Right.
pays you the wages. If you
Right.
get injured, the club
His
pays you
veins
the
are popping.
wages. This is ridiculous. Oh my god.
Okay. Okay, now let me actually address what Joe Hart said in the video, which is he said when the reverse
You're ruining my
happened.
vacation in
And-
hours.
Yes, when the reverse happens and the club tells the player that don't train with the first team and you're now surplus to requirements, no one's complaining. Can I give you biggest example? Chelsea Football Club. Do you guys see the Instagram story that Disasi posted of the quote-unquote bomb squad? So did Chelsea Football Club disrespect Disasi by not giving him his move because this is a World Cup year and he could be called up to the French national team because he has been called up to the French national team before? Did they disrespect Disasi by not selling him to another
And
football
I
club?
called it out
now-
last year.
Wait,
and I called Chelsea out
wait.
for- Terry
See how he
can vouch
interrupts?
for this.
He gets mad when I
Terry,
interrupt.
you
I
vouch
interrupt.
for this.
Yeah,
Do you remember? Terry,
yeah,
when I
he gets
said that
mad though when
Chelsea-
we interrupt.
Terry, do you remember when I said Chelsea are disrespectful to Sterling on this show? Because
Yeah.
they are
Sterling is
trying
still a
I
Chelsea
said
player.
that on this show.
Yes.
Because
Sterling
I
is still a
told her,
Chelsea
I am
player.
not a bro. I
Disasi is still a Chelsea player. So now, Mr.
Nah,
Mo, what happens to
Mo didn't
Disasi?
do that. Mo
Tell
is
me.
making it up.
I
Mo
want
did
to
not
ask
do
you a
it.
question since you called out
Don't lie
Chelsea.
now.
Okay, just tell me
Lie now.
what happens. Mo, what happens to Disasi now? Tell me. Honestly, give me an honest answer. What happens to Disasi now? Yalla. You,
He
Footy
plays
Judge
in
Mo
the
is
club,
now
I don't
after
know.
Disasi. You're
I
now
don't
the
know.
player, right?
He gets
You
paid.
want to move
He
away
gets
from the
paid his
club.
contract.
The club didn't sell you, and at the same time, you're also not playing. So tell me, you're
He
in this
gets
place.
he gets paid the money and try to fight for his place.
You keep talking about wages, but that's not Joe Hart's point. He's talking about the reverse. So Isak refused to play for Newcastle. So he gave an opposite example. No one's talking about wages. Stop bringing up the wages. It's
Because
a dumb
the
point.
contract-
They know
the-
that
it's
club
not a
is
dumb
going to
point.
pay them the wages.
That
That's
is
not the
wrong.
point.
That is
He's
wrong by
talking about the opposite
Chelsea.
scenario. So
Wrong
now
by
Chelsea
Chelsea.
doesn't get to train with the first team,
That is wrong.
doesn't even have a club or
wrong.
anything, and doesn't get to play.
That
So now
is
what?
wrong. That is wrong, and it needs to be fixed. There has to be a way to fix it. And I
But the
asked
contract should
before-
mean something.
What do you mean? The contract is about payment, and that's why clubs should absolutely be not allowed to actually sign like
But
more players.
But if a player refuses to play, they don't get paid.
but he's an asset to the club. That's what
Yeah,
you
I
don't understand. He's a
no, I
stock.
do
I think
understand
you're
it.
a businessman.
No,
you worked in banks,
no,
and you know
I
exactly what an
right.
asset is.
Yes, and
If a-
members
if a
of
player
hang
didn't-
on. Members of staff can strike, especially in England. It's actually part of our heritage, striking in this country. It's why I can't be against it. My grandfather would roll in his grave. I want to challenge something you said, Mo. You said it's bad behavior. The definition of bad behavior, I'm going to read it to you here, refers to conduct that is considered inappropriate, improper, inappropriate, or that breaks established rules and standards. This is why I push back against it. Isak's doing no different to what multiple clubs do each year to players they don't want. He's also behaving no different to dozens and dozens and dozens of players have done in the history of the game. He's acting no different to what Alan Shearer and Chris Sutton that criticised him did in their careers to get better contracts. Michael Owen outed Alan Shearer years ago by saying, hang on, you have the club to ransom to get a better deal. So you essentially threatened to leave and not play for the club anymore and go to a rival unless you paid him what he wanted. So this is why I don't look at it as bad behavior. I look at it as acceptable behavior in the world of football. Now, yes, you're just paying someone a normal wage and they've got a normal job and you can't open your cafe if the chef don't come in and cook. And he goes,
You
"You know
are
what?
saying that if anyone robs,
Hang on.
if everyone around me robs somebody, that makes it right? Oh my God.
But he isn't
Well,
robbing.
because
Hang
it's
on.
general
But
now,
hang on.
it's
Hang on a
correct.
minute. Hang on a minute. No, but hang on a
We're going
minute.
into a
Hang
moral,
on.
we're going into a moral thing here now. This is
Mo. Your
ridiculous.
equivalence is mental because Alexander Isak isn't going around with a knife robbing people. Let me give you an example, though, if you want to get into the realms of criminality. I think it is absolutely acceptable if you're a drug dealer and I'm a drug dealer and Hassan's a drug dealer, if our gangs are all nicking each other's drugs off each other and stabbing each other, in our world, that's acceptable because we all do it. It isn't. What would be weird is for one group of criminals to go, the other group of criminals is horrible. Why? Because they broke the law. They're all behaving in the same way as each other. In football, what Alexander Isak did this summer has been going on for decades. Happens at every club every year. The club's behaving that way when they want to move somebody on, and it's what the point is, singling out Alexander Isak, that his behavior is going to change the landscape of football when this has been going on for decades. That's the conversation here. I don't think his behavior is any more inappropriate, improper, or against the established standards of English Premier League football compared to anything else I've seen in the last 30 plus years.
100 times.
The way he's being, and by the way, I stuck up for Raheem Sterling in exactly the same way. The same as I was absolutely fine with the bomb squad at Man United going, we ain't going to any other club until we get the teams that we want. The same as I'm happy for Man United to go to Rasmus. If you don't want to leave, you're not going to kick a ball. I want the balance to be right. That's how they behave. If you're going to ostracize Isak, we have to ostracize. Well, you wouldn't be ostracization then, but then we have to call out every behavior like this and not just the high profile ones, not just the big clubs that do it to a player.
Gordon did it to Everton to move to Newcastle.
Exactly.
All wrong. The difference between me and you guys, I think this is all wrong and it needs a very simple solution. I have it. I'm going to say in just 10 seconds. The simple solution is very simple. In the contracts, right? Mm-hmm. If you strike and you don't go to training and you don't play, you get fined millions. And also every player should have a release clause in their contract to be able to move if they want to leave the contract. So the clubs are compensated and also the players get their wish and dream moves. Both it protects both. Okay, there are small things the businessman can do now.
What about reverse then? So what should be the punishment to a club that says to a player like Rasmus with 3 years left on his contract, we ain't going to play you anymore, you've got to leave? So if a player's going to get fined millions for doing it, what's the fine for the football club?
Chelsea Disasi, same thing.
That wants to sell a player. What's the fine?
I have a solution for this, very simple. You're only allowed to have amount of players, senior amount of players on your squad. You bought the player, it's either you find a buyer for him. Okay, let me finish the point.
No, that rule exists. That rule exists. You're only allowed a certain amount of players in your squad. That rule already exists.
It already exists anyway.
Already there.
Above a certain age. That means you cannot buy Rasmus Højlund at the age of 24 or 25, send him to under 21. You bought him, you scouted him, he is your player now. It's either you sell him, you find a place.
But what's the punishment? What's the punishment?
There's no, what do you mean? You can't, what do you mean? They can't do anything about it. They are obligated to play Rasmus Højlund and pay his wages or find the other club for him. That's it. Very simple.
And there's a bigger problem with these clauses, which I tried to explain.
You guys know that Disasi rejected 3 offers from clubs, West Ham and others. He didn't want to go. That's what I'm reading.
Newcastle rejected loads of earlier bids in the summer from Isak, and he wouldn't have gone on strike.
Yeah, exactly.
So now you guys talking about Disasi? He rejected the move.
Newcastle rejected the 110 year. But anyway, I don't want to go. Here's the problem with the release clause. I'm using one of the best examples for this, and I'll tell you why even release clauses being implemented on every single player is a problem. How much did Chelsea buy Cole Palmer for?
35.
Okay. How much is he worth today?
110 to 150.
I agree. That's a big range, من هالدرجة يعني 40 million. Give me a smaller range.
Liverpool said from
120 million. Okay, no problem. You want to know something? 120. At the time, I'm saying, let's be objective now. If Cole Palmer requested a release clause in his Chelsea contract, they would have put what, like
60, 70, max 70.
60, 70. Okay. Some people might come back and say, Chelsea have made double the money. Okay, no problem. But guess what? They have lost on another 60 million because they have a release clause.
Fair enough.
So from a business perspective, it's bad for business.
This show is going to go forever because I have a very simple solution. At that time, when Cole Palmer signed the contract, they gave him wages based on the 35. Very simple. you actually need to convince. A year later, Cole Palmer is magnificent. You give him a new contract, you up his wages, and you increase the release clause.
What happens? Can I ask you a question?
Are
What
you guys
happens-
gonna keep going? What happens?
No, yes, because
because you're giving crazy solutions.
because
It's not crazy, but fine. That happens in American sports.
Well, the problem is this: I don't want our sport to be like American sport because our sport is bigger than all their fucking sports. So why would we copy? Why would we copy that?
No, it's
Right?
just to protect
global.
both clubs.
No,
And
okay,
protect the club and the players.
I want to put a scenario out there. I want to see how you handle it. So
Yes,
what happens?
please.
What happens if the new contract is signed? Okay, you're on the salary for a 35 million release clause. You've now had your salary increased by 100 grand. Your release clause is now 80 million. What if you're told in those scenarios? What if part of the reason that you sign the contract is because you're promising the player and promising the agent, look, we're going to go out as well this summer and we're going to bring in this player and that player and we're going to move to the next level? What if the club fails to deliver on those promises? Is it just tough luck to that player for being hoodwinked, or should they have the right to go, actually, you're not moving in the right direction? What happens if the club gets relegated? What happens if the ownership changes? What happens if, and this has happened at many a club, my brother's club Leyton Orient, the owner starts off by giving out these big contracts and then goes, you know what, I'm 3 years into this and I don't want to do it anymore, so I'm just not going to invest anything. And yet the player who signed that new deal and has got a big release clause is now not getting the new players added to the squad that he was promised. What happens? And by the way, they can't contractualize these things to happen because
They can.
No, they can't though.
Everything can be controlled.
No, not everything can be contracted. Not everything can be contracted. So what happens in that scenario?
There is contract. You can put contracts, a release clause for relegation. A lot of players put release clause. If you are relegated, you leave the club for a certain amount of money. Like a lot of players actually can put about investment money. You invest certain amount of money in the summer. You can put that in a contract that the club, if I'm gonna, for example, if you're signing Kylian Mbappe, you are promising Kylian Mbappe that you're gonna invest 400 million, and that is there. You can put that in the contract. That part of me joining your project is you investing 400 million, for example, in the next 2 summers. Everything can be contracts. Everything can be put in a contract.
Okay. I don't actually think in the reality, someone who does own businesses, it's very, very hard to do that because
It is very hard.
And by the way,
And do you want to know why? We all work together, and a lot of what we have agreed to is verbal. But I consider it a verbal contract.
100%.
I consider it a verbal contract. It doesn't need to be on paper, and you're honoring it because you're a good guy. If I go against my promise, are you going to continue your promise?
I might not.
There we go. So you don't always need a contract in a court of law in this country. A verbal promise that's witness is would stand up in a court of law.
And Isak told Newcastle, guys, I want to leave. He told Crystal Palace, guys, I want to leave. So Newcastle and Crystal Palace, factually, whether you like it or not. No, wait.
Redirect gang.
Newcastle and Crystal Palace, whether you like it or not, have had a whole transfer window to find a replacement. They've had like 3 months more.
If no one is gonna, so you both agree that Isak is selfish, right?
No, I think Isak did what's correct. Because, okay, and you want to know what proves it?
Yeah.
Look how Terry changed his opinion on Newcastle as the summer progressed.
Can I ask you something?
Terry thought,
How
wait,
do you guys-
Terry thought that Newcastle are going to take the 150 million that Liverpool give them for Isak and then reinvest it and make the squad better. But based off Newcastle incompetence, he actually took a step back on straight fact 2 weeks ago and said, I think they would be fucking
How
shit.
do you guys, how do you describe Alexander Isak's behavior this summer?
Correct. That's how I would describe it. Correct behavior to do what's best for him, considering his club is incompetent. 100%. And if Guehi acted that way, he'd be in a Liverpool shirt right now. That's the funny part.
Not selfish.
There's
Okay,
some
let's
super
just
chats I
move
want
on,
to jump
yeah.
to here. This here says that they couldn't not pay Isak's wages indefinitely. Again, it depends. I suppose it depends on the clauses. If he's refusing to train and refusing to work, I think they can. HR law in the UK would enable that. If KJ just says every day, even with strike action, you sometimes get paid for a certain period. But if KJ just said, I'm not turning up for work for the last month, it's a little different because he's not contracted in the same way. But if he says, look, I'm giving a month's notice, but I'm not turning up to work my last month's notice, and he's got no holiday time left or no reason that he has to go, I'm not obligated to pay him. Maybe the contract says different, but these contracts are very much in the club's favor. They pull them.
By the way, just a quick point, Terry. Mo brought up release clauses. I'd like to introduce you to a certain player called Morgan Gibbs White, in case you're unaware, of which Spurs triggered his release clause and still didn't get the player because of the club who we should all worship and listen to, according to you, basically stabbing Gibbs White in the back.
Ash here says Suarez bit to players to orchestrate his exits. Yeah, there's a lot of, I remember that going on. Also, if this here from Papa says, also if Isak moved to our own, sorry, if this Isak move is to our own each club, we would back it because this is not we shunt it. Why is this topic dragging on so long? It's so simple. But I hear you. My view is just very much that I agree with your point, which is why I don't call it out though. So I understood the claims that people made 10, 15 years ago. They didn't want oligarchs. They didn't want nations because as Hassam and Mo have clarified, although you may get like an investment institute from a Middle Eastern country, in reality, it's owned by the royal family of those countries. I understood why people didn't want that type of ownership. Some of it was bigoted. Other people looked at it as it's kind of uncompetitive because they're richer than they're richer than the billionaires because they've got hundreds of billions. I get the reasoning for it. The reason why I never called it out was nothing to do with politics or these people, that people. It was all to do with, would I stop supporting Man United if I had an owner from that part of the world? No. Therefore, I'm not going to sit on camera and sit out there tweeting that it's wrong. And then when my club gets it, have an oil party. I was never going to do that. So my view is this. You are right, Papa. But I'm pushing for people to be less hypocritical and understand.
Let's put you Judge Mo here.
And you're very hypocritical. You are.
No. I'm going to tell you why. But before you do this next super chat, because in the Adamalo Lukman situation, I blamed Inter for not paying the money that Adamalo Lukman was promised by Atalanta to leave because Inter were haggling for 5-6 million. And I said, Atalanta are not in the wrong here. Adamalo Lukman should not go on strike and should not do these things. If Inter want the player, pay the money that Atalanta promised Adamalo Lukman to leave. And it's very simple. See, I don't change because of my club. I don't. Go ahead, read the super chat, please.
I hear that. Look at it from Joe Hart's point of view. Gave everything to City, and in the blink of an eye, he was demoted out the club. Clubs do it all the time, especially to youth players. But when it's now, it's an issue. Joshua Jack, absolutely spot on, mate. Mo, less waffle, please, is what's been said here.
Big up picture next.
Do it like North American sports, buy out the player.
I don't want it to be like North American sports. I don't want it to be like
it doesn't need to be done that way. He had 3. I actually love it how it is. I love the drama that comes with the transfers. Let's keep it.
It's amazing.
Let's keep it that way. Chelsea did dirty to Disasi. If yes, so is Isak for Sam.
By the way, Ronan and Cypher Blue, let me show you how we're calling out hypocrisy. You both are like, oh my God, Isak is such a bad guy. Disasi's contract expires in 2028. He has 3 years left on his contract too.
I agree with Mo. You can increase the release clause. Yeah, listen, I'm not against these things coming into play, but I guarantee you the clubs will be the ones that reject this more than the players. Guarantee you it's the clubs that don't. The clubs don't want everything being contracted. The clubs are the ones that won't want release clauses and everything. The clubs. It's a bit like when people say, Terry, PSR holds clubs back. No, I think it's a massive safety belt the football clubs need. No. It holds teams back, Terry. You're wrong. What if? I know you're saying that we might run up debts of 3, 4, 5 billion that we can't afford with our support. But what if our owners put all that money into an account so that we were covered? Yeah. Question for you. Why hasn't that never been suggested by a single billionaire owner of a football club? Because they don't want to give away that cash. They don't want to put that money into a pot they have no control over. Because what they actually want, they love what they're doing, but they want to be able to walk away whenever they want to be able to walk away. They don't want to walk away with £5 billion sitting in the Premier League's bank account that they have to top up every year. And I say 5 billion because I'm using an extreme example, but do you know how rich the Newcastle owners are? That if they were allowed to spend whatever they want, they could literally go and get Mbappe and go, there's £5 million a week in salary, and they could afford that. It's a drop in the ocean.
They are doing it in the Saudi League. Like, you see Benzema wages. Like,
exactly. And imagine those debts on clubs that only turn over 3. But again, people always come up with these suggestions. But if club owners really wanted those rules, they could get them in place and they could vote them in. But they don't even suggest them. And they've got a room full of exceedingly smart billionaires and lawyers. They don't suggest it. It's because they don't want to do that. The UK law forbids it. All they can do is sack him. Yeah, listen, there's loads of things as well around that as well. So it's like competition clause. It's like payment caps and payment things. It's actually against a lot of British employment law and EU law as well to like cap what someone can and can't earn. So you just can't. Again, it's different from America because our employment laws in the UK compared to America. Like in England, if you're like employed PAYE, you basically got to rob off the company or try and kill your boss to get sacked. Where in America, you can be late once in a week and they can sack you if you've been there 20 years. Like they have almost no employment law in America compared to the UK. So that's why you can't just copy the American model, because our laws and how we protect our workers, irrespective if they earn £1 an hour, no, that's illegal, £10 an hour or £10 million an hour, the laws and the rules that protect them are the same. So we can't just implement American laws into our game because our country forbids it. Comparing actual labor strikes of the past with multimillionaires trying to get better teams isn't really the same thing. Very good challenge. Very good challenge. My view on it is this, though. There are people that strike in the UK that have, again, they're not multimillionaires. I've got a friend who works in the train industry who earns over £150,000 a year. He votes for the strike action if he doesn't get the right level of pay rise every year. And he is a, not wealthy, but a very well-off person. The issue that you have, it's the slippery slope element for me. You start going, right, well, millionaires can't strike. How far down? What is the cap you're going to put on someone's yearly earnings when they can strike? And you see how that can then continue to get eroded. And for me, strike action is something I'm proud of as a working class Englishman, a working class Brit. It's something that I don't think it matters what you earn. It's the principle that you can do it. Because I would worry, I worry in this country, if we start taking that right away from certain people. I know what governments are like. They then start taking it away from more and more and more and more people. Slippery slope. We shouldn't do it. And we don't have the same protections you have in America to protect yourself from nasty governments. That's the only way I'm going to phrase that. What Salah did was great. Too long, these accounts of rage-baited fans for interactions. That's why Mo was supporting it, because Mo's a rage baiter. That's all they care about. It's garbage content. Yeah, Mo Gender.
Not content, it's not rage bait. It's a fact. He's an upgrade. He that pays the piper dictates the tune. The clubs have control over the players who are assets. So you're dehumanizing basically the player and you're just calling him an asset. But the moment that the asset comes into human form and says, I want to leave, you have a problem with it. You have a bigger problem than like your logic is way worse than actually anything we've said on the panel.
Depends on the state you live in. Here in Florida, they call it right to work laws, but workers have very little rights.
We have zero rights here in Texas. Zero.
Yes, it's crazy.
You can literally scan your badge and it doesn't go without even anyone telling you.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, you can't do that in England. Too bad. Salah is a nice guy. Feed the kids in Egypt. Trying to get better teams.
Yeah, guess what? Isak was trying to go to a better team.
Absolutely. Big up to the panel. Newcastle United need to realize Newcastle United need to realize the treatment of Isak is ridiculous. Now, why would any football talent go to them after the way they have treated him? They should learn how to treat Sporting. Look how Sporting treated Gyökeres. Look, I don't think it will stop players going to Newcastle. I think that's a slight exaggeration. However, it may make them players demand easier ways of getting out of the football club. I also think some of the teammates might look at the fucking hate campaign on this player since he left. Look at the media campaign. Look at the lies. Look at the things they're saying about this man that we really respect. Sven Botman being called out by big Newcastle fans online yesterday for wishing his friend good luck in the future.
Yeah,
that may put some people off.
Too much, to be honest. Like
that may.
Luke Edwards basically accused him of like essentially.
Yeah, in this thing, Luke Edwards someone need to really sue the guy. You cannot actually go on a player's person.
Yeah, like he said, he wanted Newcastle to not qualify.
You're literally asking for
his own team. That's crazy, bro.
For Isak to go to jail, which is kind of weird behavior, to be honest.
PG says, Terry, why did Liverpool block Joe Gomez's move? No idea. Probably because they didn't get Guehi. I don't know.
Yeah, because they didn't have enough numbers.
I'm talking about withholding wages indefinitely. But if a player refuses to play and train, I guarantee they've got the right to withhold his wages, because what's he getting paid for?
At a certain level, of course.
What they won't be able to probably withhold is image rights if they're still using his image on things. So if Newcastle was still having his picture on websites, his picture on pamphlets, his pictures on posters, they'd probably have to pay his image rights still. But if he isn't kicking a ball in training, I guarantee they're allowed to withhold paying the vast majority of all of his salary, because he isn't upholding. It will say in his salary, I've read in his contract, that he has to play football matches. He's being paid to play football matches. This here says the literal backbone of pro sport is contracts. This is what this will only get worse. Clubs obligated to pay them, they still get paid. It won't get worse. This is why I'm pushing back.
But here's the problem: you're all putting this on Isak's shoulders, talking about it's gonna get worse, bro. This happened like 20 years ago with Tevez, with Berbatov, with so many different players. This has been happening historically, bro.
Exactly.
This ain't new.
That's why I don't think it's
set a precedent.
Yeah.
Already.
It's exactly. That's what I'm pushing back against. Liverpool didn't become the negotiator. We are by pay what they want. Terry wishes for the same. Guehi fouled because of Glasner deal and the wages. By the way, I think that Oliver Glasner has done nothing wrong as well. He's looking out for his best interests. And do you know what? There's going to be an irony in this. If there's a rumor going around that if Amorim gets sacked, Glasner might come to Man United. Can you imagine if he then joins Man United?
Oh, would he care about Guehi then? No.
But that's it. That's the nature of the beast, you know? I think Parish has got overruled once the manager said he would leave if Guehi was sold, as they didn't have a replacement. Remember, he's the minority owner. There's that. I mean, you might find Oliver Glasner may have negotiated in a veto so he can stop things. Some managers have that. There's also that element. They have to weigh it up. Do we take the money? Do we play with no player? What if Glasner does leave? What if the player goes and then the manager quits? Palace fans will do their nut after their greatest ever season, and they're in Europe and they've started the season very well. They have to make the decisions. And by the way, then there's nothing wrong with what Palace has done either. It's the nature of this sport, and I love it. I love it. Again, UK law does not allow it. They can sack him. Oh yeah, they can sack him, but they wouldn't, because then they're releasing an asset. But I'm sure they could hold these. Even when people are sick in the UK, I know this for a fact. I went through it, not personally. I managed the situation. You get sick pay in the UK at some companies, and then there's statutory sick pay. But there comes a point when a company can stop paying. But if someone isn't sick, someone isn't injured, and they're just blank right refusing to work, you are not legally obliged to pay them. You're not. And football contracts are even more stringent on that, because the footballers are more like contractors rather than full-time employees, even though they get paid PAYE. If they're not turning up to do their job, you don't pay them. I wanted to ask you guys, I know we're running out a little bit of time, but slightly off this, but sort of still connected in a way to Liverpool. Do you think Arsenal are ready to win the title, Mo?
Yeah, 100%. Yes. They have the team now. They filled every position. They have two players in every position. The only thing that could have done probably is maybe sign someone on the left wing. But the problem is, and I said that yesterday, Liverpool train are moving faster than everyone else. Like, you're trying to catch the Liverpool train and they're moving faster than you. So regardless of what you do, Liverpool are ahead of you. That goes for Chelsea, Man City, and Arsenal. Arsenal are the only team that they are actually pushing their train with a speed that might be able to catch Liverpool. Others are not. But I think Arsenal are ready to win the Premier League, to be honest. And I'm not buying into the narrative of Arteta plays negative football. I thought about it yesterday, because I did a show yesterday with Hussam, and we were talking about the way Arsenal play. And I'm like, if Arteta that's his way of winning games in the Premier League, and that's his way of actually protecting his team from conceding goals, it's his way. And a lot of teams did it. And for everyone that is saying that Arteta plays defensive football, stats show otherwise, by the way. Stats show otherwise. He plays kind of a little bit a conservative brand of football against good teams away from home to try to protect his team. And I'm here for it. Are they better than Liverpool? No, they are not better than Liverpool. But are they equipped to win the title? Yes, 100% they are equipped to win the title. And they have all the tools that are ready. Eucharist, the striker that wanted. Eze, I believe he's going to have a great impact.
They have all the tools, more except the chef.
This is where I disagree with you. The fact that Arteta got to the final game of the season with Pep Guardiola, it tells me that he can create a system that will win against 15 out of the 19 teams he play. And that is the recipe for winning league titles, which is what Liverpool did, what Pep Guardiola did. Everyone, the fact that they drew 14 games last season with the injuries and not having a striker, it's addressed now. So I'm expecting Arsenal, this 14 draws, at least 10 of them will be transformed into wins, or 8 of them will be transformed into wins. Anybody that says that Arteta is not a good coach doesn't know football and doesn't know how to watch football, by the way, at all. Because good coaches doesn't play the football one way. Arteta wins more games than what he loses. He doesn't lose a lot of big games against big teams. He played against Real Madrid and dominated them. That was not defensive, by the way. He dominated Real Madrid and were the better team. Yes, they won with free kicks, but they were dominant. Arteta's a good coach. The problem is, again, I'm going to repeat, this season he's going against a team that basically are better than him. They're just better than Arsenal. The attack of Liverpool are way better than Arsenal. Isak, Ekitike, Gakpo, Salah, and Wirtz are better than Arsenal's attack. They're just better than them. The midfield is 50-50. I think Liverpool midfield is good. I think actually Liverpool midfield is better than the Arsenal midfield because they have creativity there from 2 players. Arsenal don't have creativity. Odegaard hasn't shown us that he can go back to his best. But the Arteta talk and the people that, with all due respect, the media now that is running against Arteta, I think that's a campaign. It's a campaign against Mikel Arteta. Well, I swear to God, it's a campaign against him. Like it was a campaign against Jurgen Klopp before when he was losing against Pep. One league title in 9. One league title in 9.
He beat Pep
once when there was no pressure.
Even once?
When there was no pressure.
Did Arteta beat Pep once?
So hear me out then. So Jurgen Klopp stayed 9 years at Liverpool. I think Jurgen Klopp is a better coach than Mikel Arteta, actually. But then he won the league one time. Exactly. But then he won the league one time in 9 years. One time. 9 years.
But he won everything else as well. Why remove that? He won a Champions League.
Because the Champions League.
He won all the domestic cups. He won the Super Cup.
Because he is better than Arteta in the Champions League. He already reached 2 Champions League finals before, if I'm not mistaken. He already did. Before even winning.
Jurgen Klopp was 2 moments away from completing footballing like immortality, basically, by winning the quad.
To be honest with you, I actually genuinely believe that Mikel Arteta is a good coach. If he doesn't win the league this season.
What did you just say, though? Good coach.
Yeah, very good coach.
Can a good coach win you the Premier League? And guys, I'm going to pinch Footy Judge Mo now. Let me pinch him. Mr. Mo, if Antonio Conte was the manager of Arsenal, would you say they're going to win the league?
They might, yes. Gives them a chance, yes.
That's the answer, Mo. I know the real answer. If Conte was Arsenal manager for the last 3 years, would they have won?
They might, yes. They might.
Not might. Tell me your honest opinion.
I can't tell you exactly what it is. I can't just be hypocritical and tell you exactly what it is. But they might, yes. They might have.
And that's the key difference here. The biggest thing that Arsenal need to do was sack Arteta. They didn't sack Arteta, they're not going to win the league, in my opinion.
So you made up your mind.
They can have all the pieces.
What if Arteta goes to a different? Do you believe that Mikel Arteta, if he goes to a club in Italy, or
where do you think Arteta goes now? Where? Everton?
Hold on, Everton.
No. Yeah. Who the hell do you think will employ him? Who?
Atletico Madrid. I believe the likes of Bayern Munich will employ him. I believe the likes of Inter, Milan, Juventus.
They have company, no problem.
They will employ him.
Yeah,
They will employ. PSG might employ him.
PSG will never employ him.
Really?
Yeah, because he's anti-football. It'll never work.
Yeah, that is a new thing that people. I thinking about this word that is getting like for everyone in the head.
All the Arsenal legends are saying it.
He's not anti-football because I don't think he's anti-football at all. I think Arteta plays a good brand of football that is attacking. But the problem is now he's holding the players back in the last season. But I've seen Mikel Arteta play very good football before.
You've seen 3 years ago, Mo. It's 2025. Join us.
So how many seasons? Okay, so how many seasons have Arteta been coaching a good team at Arsenal? 3 years. How many? 3? No. This is the 4th year, but 3 years. We've seen 3 years. How many years you played good football? Terry, please get involved with us.
1.
How many years did Arteta play good football with Arsenal?
1 or 2.
Okay, he coached 3 years. It's either 2 or 1. You just make up your mind.
No, I said 1 or 2.
Okay, I believe 2 seasons out of the 3 seasons. What happened to Arteta last season? No striker. Saka got injured. Odegaard got injured, and he changed the way he plays. Right? So I'm waiting to put the judgment that he plays anti-football this season by the integration of
but he has a striker now.
Exactly. So
He has a striker now. He has creativity now.
Are you judging him based on the 3
Why
games?
did he not start Eze at Anfield?
Are you judging him based on the 3 games? Can I ask?
Why didn't he bring on Odegaard?
He did bring up Odegaard.
Also, me and you disagree on something.
Can I ask you a question though, Sam? Can I ask you a question? I, by the way, just to preface this, I think they should have brought on attacking players earlier in the game. I think they should have brought Dalman on earlier in the game, and I think in the first half they should have played some riskier passes when they were pinning you back at times. That being said, if when he goes away to City, when he goes away to Chelsea, when he goes away to Tottenham this season, they're the other big games away from home, Newcastle away. If he goes into those games and starts with more attackers and is more risky, but loses them, you're not gonna. You might.
Oh man, argument.
No, because I didn't finish asking.
Oh man, what he wins?
No, hang on. Let me finish asking the question. If he loses them, of course, you're still going to criticize chances missed or bad defending or poor selection. But the one thing you won't criticize or say is that it's anti-football because he's gone there trying to win. You'll praise the mentality of being more attacking, even
100%.
if they lose.
100%. This is something you both will vouch for me for. I am very pro attacking football. Like, this is something that I've been consistent with from when you from when you both met me. Like, I remember even criticizing Pep himself for being boring. Like, I've never changed my opinion on this ever. And I think you can be successful with attacking football, as Ferguson showed, as Klopp showed. Even, by the way, Mourinho's earlier on Chelsea teams were not boring, by the way. They were actually entertaining to watch with Joe Cole, Robben, Duff, Drogba, Lampard. Like, they were very entertaining to watch. You get me? Same thing with the Arsenal teams that were successful. Like, I think I would rather a team like Barcelona right now, Real Madrid, playing entertaining football and win the league than Atletico win it. You get me? In terms of entertainment. Like, I like attacking football. And I think it's great mentality because they can go away from home and they can win. There's 2 managers in the in this league right now that have won the league. Slot and Pep. Both of them are, I want to win instead of I don't want to lose. That's just the truth.
We criticize the people that say there's only one way to play football, and you are with me always. You say that there's not only one way. I believe there are many ways to play tournaments and many ways to play football now and many ways to win. Well, listen, to be honest with you, this is it. You got everything now, Mikel Arteta. Prove to us that your way of playing, which is not gung-ho football like Jurgen Klopp or Pep, prove to us that now you can win with your brand of football. It's very simple. This is it. I'm waiting for him. If he falls behind Liverpool, don't give me the signed Isak. Don't give me the signed whatever. You chose to sign Gyökeres. You chose to sign.
They're going to give you that, so get ready.
Okay. No, they chose. No, there is no point. By the way, an Arsenal defense is way more established than Liverpool defense. You already have a defense that is better than Liverpool. Liverpool don't have any. Like, there is no.
I think they can. Listen, I criticized them on Sunday. I criticized them yesterday on Straight Facts with the boys. I do think I personally feel there's been an overreaction. I think not beating Liverpool away at Anfield, not being too risk averse, I don't think that's a guarantee they don't win the league. That hasn't made me change my mind. They are going to push Liverpool. Liverpool's still my favourites. They're going to push Liverpool until that nth degree. And I get what Aaron said yesterday. He wants to see something different to make him believe they can do it. And I think that's fair if you're someone that doesn't believe Arsenal can do it. I think they can. I think they left Arteta short last year. I think they made terrible decisions both in the summer and the January window to not buy him the players that he needs. But Arteta doesn't have that excuse this year. Yes, they should have taken a few more risks. I don't feel like when people are saying they should have started the game with 2 or 3 more attack-minded players, I actually disagree on reflection, because I think what they did is they nullified and stopped you and they killed your crowd. They should have taken more risks than they had. And this is why I don't blame the manager for the first half, per se, because Martinelli could have played Gyökeres in 2 or 3 times and it would have really tested Konate that's had a bad start to the season. He didn't play the pass. He played a simple pass and you guys reformed your shape. The second half is more on reflection where I blame Arteta, because I think Odegaard and Eze should have come on 10 to 15 minutes earlier. And I think Dalman should have been given 20 minutes. You saw when he came on, you saw the way the Liverpool fans cheered when Gyökeres tackled him. That's because there's a fear. that fuck, this kid's good. This kid can take people on.
Yeah.
This kid will win penalties. And that was a mistake from Mikel Arteta. And I think if it so people speak about Fergie always went to win. He did, but he didn't always go out gun-ho from the beginning. Some way away. Sometimes it's about strategy. Sometimes how you win is by being a bull in a china shop. Newcastle play like that a lot. Newcastle in a lot of their games, they come out in that first 25 minutes to try and blow you away. If they haven't blown you away, that's when they're more susceptible. You can start picking them off as a team. You actually saw it last season famously at Old Trafford. They blew us away in the opening 20 minutes with 2-0 up. We really should have scored at least 2 goals before half time and missed 3 or 4 big cities. Basically, they shot their load. They killed themselves physically. So yeah, I look at Arsenal. They can win the league. A lot of people have been speaking about the last few days. They definitely can. Let's do some of these super chats before the end of the show, boys. This here says Slot was anti-football at home, less shots, 85% of all passes in his own half. One wonder goal changed the fact that your team was more defensive.
Our team was not more defensive. Our team was incapable of breaking down Arsenal's low block. We couldn't do it in the first half. Second half, the Curtis Jones substitution changed things. We had 71% possession in the second half till we scored the goal.
Do you not think as well, though, like I've seen a lot of the Gyökeres conversations this week. I'll be worried about him. If you actually look at Gyökeres and Ekitike stats, they were so similar to each other. Barely any touches, barely any passes, no shots on goal. I think Gyökeres might have had 1 or 2. And it's just because both defenses cancelled out the attackers. We're just not used to seeing 2 really good teams in England play each other that regularly. Like we're not used to it in this country. Terry, remember my super chat on your show earlier? Did you check on Google 5 games before Liverpool's game last season? Yeah, but I don't know what you wanted me to check. What is it you wanted me? I don't know what you wanted me to. I was confused. I didn't know what you wanted me to check. I know Liverpool didn't beat Arsenal. Was it a draw in their game last year?
Yep. Anfield.
What are you wanting me? I don't quite get what I'm looking at. Looks like Wirtz is flopping like Anthony did for us. Same expectations that rivals had for Anthony, paying 100 million for a passenger. Yikes.
He wasn't a passenger in the second half. First half, he was.
Are you completely relaxed about Wirtz? So you think it's good?
Yeah, I know he'll come good. He's way too good to fail. Like he'll come good. Second half, he was a lot better, and I think second half was the best we've seen of Liverpool shot so far. And it'll only go up from here.
Pretty sure Fergie said attack wins matches, but defense wins your leagues.
Yeah, that changed. Wayne, that changed.
3 years.
Arsenal
had the best defense in the league for the last 3 years, and you didn't win the league.
Changed.
Anyway, on that note, I have to head off now. Big up.
Cheers, bro. Arteta's problem is in-game management. A great manager would have recognized Liverpool were vulnerable at halftime and gone more attacking at halftime.
Ryan, I'm gonna respond to you. He subbed Odegaard and Eze at minute 70, and it was still 0-0. He tried to win the game. He just couldn't. To be honest, he just couldn't, because Liverpool were in the ascendancy. But he did make subs. Maybe you can argue semantics. You could have subbed him in the 65th minute instead of the 70th. That is just, come on, crying. Like, he did sub them on when it was 0-0 at Anfield. That shows intent, that he was trying to win. Moreno out, Odegaard in, Martinelli out, is he in? That is intent at 0-0 at Anfield, one of the toughest ground to win. Simple.
Look, back to the previous super chat, and I want to make sure I word this right. I want to make sure I word this correctly. What Fergie said still holds water. Defenses win your titles, attacks win your games. But you didn't bring the attack on early enough to win the game. The defense did its job. You can't legislate for the wonder goal. What didn't happen is the attackers didn't come on at the right time. They should have got longer in the game. Liverpool were building up momentum, and you let the momentum get too far in their favor, and then it's hard to push it back because it's so heavily weighted in their favor. I think had you had made the changes sooner, Liverpool may have felt a little bit less confident to attack and gone, oh, we'll hold back a little bit, and you could have picked up the momentum. I think it's fair to criticize him in that way. Example that proves Sam's point is when Slot said Chelsea were the toughest team he played at Anfield, even after winning, is because they attacked Liverpool.
Fair enough.
It's fair. This here says when people say Arteta plays anti-football, do they know how to properly analyze football? I think, go on, Mo. Go on, you answer that, bro. Go on.
It's very simple. Yes, some of them do, because some of them likes to see a special brand of football, Wayne. So analyzing football is not one way. Like, there are ex-pros and coaches that said that he plays anti-football. It's their opinion. They want him to attack. So we cannot also, like, if we're gonna say that he plays good football, we cannot say that others, when they watch that football and they don't like it, they are wrong. Nobody is wrong here. They think there is a way to play football, and there's another one that is anti-football. But I disagree with them. But also doesn't mean that they don't know how to analyze football, Wayne. Come on. There's ex-pros and coaches.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't. If you don't like him, 1 second. If you don't like him, then you're going to say anti-football. You're going to say these things. I absolutely understand it. I don't necessarily think it's anti-football because you don't win the amount of points he's done. You don't have the win percentage if you're not playing a certain way. I didn't ever think Jose was anti-football. I thought Jose Mourinho played a way to win, and I don't think he's as pragmatic as he is. Terry, bull in China shop approach used to result in humiliating defeats along with wins. Arteta's approach is to guard against getting thrashed and then open up after they score a few goals. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. That's why I'm saying I don't think the approach necessarily in the first half was wrong. Stifle the game, stop Liverpool, get the crowd down. The players need criticism. They could have taken more risks when they had the ball in the right areas. And I think the attacking subs could have come later. So I think there's a balance in the analysis that's needed here. Like Peter Schmeichel saying, absolute stupidity. Wait, doesn't Conte play very conservative football? Just shows the poor analysis.
Actually, I want to correct you here, Wayne. Just a simple lack of knowledge. Antonio Conte doesn't play. Antonio Conte is similar to Arteta, and it's not actually a conservative brand of football. Go watch Napoli's stat under Antonio Conte. They still average over 65% ball position. The difference between Antonio Conte and others is that against top teams, he changes his way, which is Arteta's way. By the way, Antonio Conte still, his team have all the position, all the attack, all the shots, everything. Again, is probably 80% of the teams he play. He did that for Inter. Okay.
This here says any UK employer must either keep paying or formally release staff who stop working. Football clubs sell players so they don't walk away for nothing. The problem is you're looking at something different here. And someone else always says football is different, Terry. A club can only fine a player for 4 weeks' wages before the PFA gets called in. Then things go down the sport legal route. Yes, fine a player. You're not fining a player if you're not paying them. So football clubs can refuse to pay staff who refuse to train or play without a valid reason for not playing, as it constitutes as unauthorized absences and a breach of the contract. However, the player can refuse to play if they have a reasonable fear for health and safety protection. Yes. If they feel like a contractual agreement or a verbal contract has been made, i.e. a promise, they may have legitimate reasons. So, but if a player is just unauthorized absence, if a player just says, imagine this 5-year contract for a player. This would happen, by the way, with some players. 5-year deal, 10 million a year. They play for the first 3 months, and then the player just goes, you know what? I'm moving to America with my wife. I'm not going to turn up. You got to pay me. It wouldn't work, would it? There's no way a club would be obligated to pay that person. They would, and they may have to go to court if the player countersues, but the club would just refuse to play. And if there isn't a legitimate reason as to why the player can't play, they're not going to go down the court route because the court's going to favor inside of the club. So you are right. It isn't as basic as just we will stop playing. But if there's no legitimate reason for the player to not train or play, and because I wanted to join Liverpool in isolation is not a good enough reason. If he says, though, I've got emails and meetings and witnesses promising me that's different. So they may still have to play him. Didn't Hassam say if Arsenal dropped any points in the first 3 games, it was very difficult for them to catch City and Liverpool?
They changed their opinions on City now. Everyone changed their opinion on City. Ultra Snake. Everyone changed their opinion on City now.
I agree. I absolutely agree with that. He spent £1 billion and won nothing. Take the L. Listen, and Arteta should absolutely be criticised for that. And there's massive pressure on him winning trophies. Okay, that's 5 games that's okay. That's 5 games withdrawn, 1 loss, and the win was against Ipswich. Oh, you mean so the last 5 games of last season as well? Yeah, but the season was over. I don't think you can take the games at the end of last season too seriously. The season was over. You weren't playing for anything. It's a different mentality. The beginning of the season, your 2 wins, 1 against United, 1 against Leeds, and 1 narrow defeat away at the hardest ground in the stadium in the country to go to in the first few games. You've got, this is the first 10 games. People shouldn't be losing their minds. Shouldn't be. Maybe City, if they lose to Man United and they lose to Liverpool, their fans might lose their minds. But you're not in that state yet. You win your next 2 or 3 games, Arsenal. Liverpool will drop points at some point in his opening 10. I just think you've got to stay a bit more relaxed and get behind your team personally right now. I agree with Terry. Odegaard and Eze should have come on sooner. Arteta got it wrong. But 1-0 at Anfield isn't a disaster. Punch in the gut. We go again. Is what
I like
Matt
this.
says,
I like this, Matt. Too early to actually completely rule them out from winning the title. Too early.
Yeah. Go look it up. City had to pay Tevez to play golf. But what was his legitimate what was the reasoning for it? Again, I'm not saying that there wouldn't be a reason. Did he have a legitimate reason? And you've got to explain that here. This here says no, they can sack him, but they wouldn't just sack him because then they'd lose the asset and they'd have to pay. Come on, we're going around in circles. We'll agree to disagree on this one. Or done at Super Chat. Comparing Isak to Trent is crazy. Weird fans.
They are incomparable. They're completely different. One out of contract, one has contract.
No, I agree with that completely. I really, really do. Look, I want to thank every single person. Thank you here, Chris. And this is the Best Straight Fact Show. I appreciate that. I want to thank everybody that's tuned into the show with us today. This is going to redirect you to Hussam's channel. So you guys make sure you're all supporting him over there. We're live again, maybe live tonight. I've got to see. I might be out. I don't know yet. I'm just checking something. If not, back in the morning with more content and phone-in shows for you. Please make sure you go check out my personal channel, Terry Flewers TV as well. You can scan the QR code or just search Terry Flewers on YouTube. You'll find it. Go and subscribe. Go and get yourselves ready over there. Also, turn the bell notification button on all our channels. Mine, Mo's, Sam's, MHF. Get that bell notification turned on. Very, very important indeed. Until next time, people. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. We'll see you soon. Peace.